Hey, morning, Raymond. Now we've got 10 minutes with you, I think. So the floor is yours. Please leave us some time for questions. And your camera is not actually on your face so much, but anyway, that's all right. Yeah, that's
some people might think not being able to see my face was an advantage.
Not at all.
How's that?
Very good.
Yeah, cool. Right. Kia ora e te tia mana, mena mema o te committee. Ko Raymond Horan toku ingoa, hei Chief Advisor o Taituara, hei mihi mai i te kotahi, mano o ngā mema o Taituara, me te whanau ngā kaunahira o Aotearoa. My name's Raymond Horan. I'm Chief Advisor with Taituara. I bring you greetings from the 1,000 members of Taituara and the wider local government family. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this extremely important bill. It has been a reminder of the importance of democracy, just listening to the 4 speakers who've been previously, all of whom were, as I understood it, representing themselves. It's always good to see passionate New Zealanders in action and exercising legitimate rights within a democracy. So, in brief, Taituara supports a 4-year parliamentary term with some important provisos that I'll get to momentarily. We think a longer parliamentary term incentivises better governance. It incentivises governments to think and act for the longer term. We can all think of some of the big picture policy issues, the things that make or break governments, that often do take every bit of 4 years to implement, to work through the policy process, work through the legislative process, implement effectively and see results. So just in the local government portfolio, I think of water reform, started in 2018 by the previous government. We are still going, albeit that we've had a change of direction. RM reform similarly. Even I think the original Local Government Act started in April 2000, finished in a real sprint in December 2002. Even small or even medium-sized legislative reform can take every bit of 12 to 18 months. I guess what I'm saying is, in effect, if a government doesn't start the big picture within literally 3 or 4 months of starting a term, they struggle to, or there's a possibility that the bigger picture stuff, they run out of runway. I'd just also add that a longer parliamentary term makes for more inclusive and considered policy making. It makes for potentially longer select committee processes to engage and to meaningfully consider submissions. Those reforms I've mentioned, typically the select committee process or the process for engaging with the public has been no more than 6 weeks. I'm not sure even some of those groups that are well stocked with experts struggle to submit in that time. It opens up options such as the British Green Paper, White Paper legislation model. So all in all, it does make for better policy and legislation. So I mentioned some provisos. There's always a catch. Firstly, I agree with those submitters that have gone, or we agree with those submitters that have gone previously. The variable, sometimes 4 years, sometimes 3 years, is most unhelpful. I think the officials did a very good job of pointing out the practical limitations of that in the regulatory impact statement. I will return to some of those limitations in a moment. Our second proviso is that whatever Parliament chooses to do with this bill, central government and local government terms of office must align. So central and local government, the terms of office should either both be 4 years or both be 3 years, not different terms for each. And why? Well, practically speaking, differing terms means 1 year in 12, central and local government elections fall in the same year. There are many, many practical issues in that. The role and resourcing of the Electoral Commission, not least, the potential for voter confusion as local and central elections are run under different systems and with different voting methods and so on. There's a very real possibility that what's going on at central government level, central government issues, priorities, filter into local elections. And while party politics isn't widely prevalent in local government, there is some possibility that where it does exist, local elections become actually an extension of central government elections in that they are to some degree about the performance of central government. They become a kind of a referendum on central government's performance in the last term. And just one very practical point, I don't know of any Prime Minister who'd be particularly welcoming of the fact that 3 months of that particular election year, their ability to call an election will be limited by the fact you've got local government, or there could be a practical limitation there. I think our second proviso is that many central and local government processes are developed around a 3-year accountability cycle. So there is talked at some length about the statement of intent in central government accountability processes. In a similar vein, local authority long-term planning processes are developed around a 3-year cycle. If we are to move to a 4-year cycle, all of those things will need to be looked at and considered. Some other examples which go to central government's investment in infrastructure, the National Transport Strategy is a good example. In local government, we've got regional land transport strategies, regional pest management strategies, district roading programs, and many, many more. If we're going to move to a 4-year term, those things need to move to a 4-year term too, and I will be happy to assist the committee and identify, or Parliament in general, to identify those things. At that point, I know I've only got 10 minutes, so I will hold fire and pass back to you.
All right. Can I just ask the first question?
Yep.
All the submitters around local government have suggested it should be a 4-year term if you're going to go down that route. Can I ask, has local government and your organisation in particular been lobbying for a 4-year term for local government because you perceive, from your perspective, not from central government's perspective, that is a better outcome?
What do you mean?
Absolutely.
You have been lobbying.
It's good governance both for central and for local government.
So you've previously been lobbying for a 4-year term for local government?
No, this is the first opportunity that we've taken to do so.
Okay. Right, Mr. Bates.
Thanks, Chair. 2 questions. One is other submitters have spoken about the first year needing to bed things in and all of that jazz. Doesn't that actually come down to how prepared the incoming government is to become the government at the point in which they become the government? Otherwise, for example, last year we would have seen nothing happen from a legislative perspective.
The Parliament
It does, but I guess what I would say, and this is particularly relevant, well, actually, it's relevant in different ways for central and local government. In central government, we have MMP, we have multi-party governments, and on occasion, sometimes the way things shake down post an election, you get a coalition that perhaps was less obvious. So the example I might think of there would be 2002 Labour Alliance and United Future, which had been effective going into the start of the election period. In local government, so there's a period where they need to negotiate, and I think 2017 there was a little bit of a delay.
I think we got your point. I've got one more question. Ms. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Raymond, just on your point about plans being subject to a 3-year cycle, are you talking about things that are governed by secondary legislation or policies that are able to be more swiftly adapted?
Actually, for the most part, Ms. Walters, I'm thinking about documents where the timing is specified in legislation itself. In the primary legislation plan example, that's the Local Government Act. The Transport Strategies is the Land Transport Management Act. I appreciate that is not an easy task to fix all of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horan. That's a great submission, and we've run out of time, unfortunately. So
Okay, I don't know where Ray went. Did that stream lag for anyone else? Did that footage lag for anyone else? Please let me know in the chat if it has lagged. But okay, so breakdown of what Raymond said. He is in support. Okay, that's fine. And his reasons for that is that it incentivizes better governance and that having a longer period of time results in better reforms or smarter reforms and inclusive policy making. So longer select committees, which has been a real problem under this government. You know, the length of select committees, and especially with those regulatory impact statements where people don't really, well, the people that are writing them don't really have enough time to get to wider consult the populations that the policy being proposed is going to impact. So yeah, I mean I have looked over the regulatory impact statement for this bill in the past, and from what I recall from recollection is that there isn't much evidence to show that a 4-year term is going to do that. So it's more like a, you know, try it out and find out type situation. I agree with Raymond that, yeah, it's kind of stupid to have like a 3-year election term and then for locals and then a 4-year election term for central, because you are going to get that clash. You know, I mean, some years you're just going to have, you know, you're going to have local and central elections exactly at the same time, and that's not good for democracy because you're just overloading the public. It's like, vote here, vote over there. You know, they've got to keep track of all these debates and all these discussions that are going on, and that's not good. You don't want to do that. Yeah, so yeah, Raymond is correct. I mean, the regulatory impact statement, just going off memory, also brings that point up. And yes, his concerns about local elections can become an extension of central government. I agree. I do agree, which is why I'm more in favour of having independent candidates rather than party-based candidates. And I know that is definitely the case in my neck of the woods where I'm from, where there's definitely more of a priority to support independent candidates rather than, hey, this candidate's from this party, because yeah, otherwise you might as well just have bigger central government. That's just my position on that. I much prefer to support independents in the locals rather than party. I think parties are more better suited for central government stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm just going to bring Ray back in. Welcome back, Ray. Any thoughts?
You said it well.
I said it
was
well.
lagging, so I refreshed, but it was just the Parliament part as usual.
Yep. Does it pass the vibe check?
Yeah.
It passed the vibe check. Okay. Yeah, I think it passed the vibe check too. That was pretty good submission.
Do you know where he's from? Taituara?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know which organisation he's representing, but I thought that was a good submission. I can always look back on the footage for that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right.
Right.
We'll go